I am Josh Galindo. I've built several successful businesses utilizing the one tool everybody has, the mind. I am here to guide, coach, and prepare you. We will debate, discuss, and grow our minds together so you can obtain your own success. Fuck average, be legendary. This is my podcast. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I'm doing pretty good myself. How are we doing, Jonesy?
Usually started off with good morning, honey, and I get confused. That one wasn't as confusing.
The Danny's go-to.
That one wasn't as confusing.
We got to get the
Yeah, right.
I got like a half-assed one.
Yeah.
Kinda.
That will represent Danny's jokes.
Okay.
There you go.
So if you don't laugh and he pushes that, then he missed the mark.
Yeah.
I miss a lot.
You just got back from Coachella.
I did.
I'm kind of glad now that I didn't ask you much about it, in all seriousness, because I don't know much about it, and we could spend a second talking about it. So Coachella, it's in Palm Springs in the Indio Valley.
Is it always there?
Yeah, it's always.
Okay.
It's actually been there for like 20 years.
makes EDC look young.
No, EDC's been around, but it's never been on this grand of a scale. And they just keep adding more stages, and it gets bigger and bigger. But it's just it's like a hippies festival.
Mm-hmm. Like you sleep outside.
There's camping there, but
Where'd you sleep?
in a bedroom. I'll never camp again. I don't know. It's like college chicks love it. It's like very posh, and celebrities are there the weekend, like the first weekend. That's all the Kardashians go, and it's
Really? Is it done well? I mean, the question is what makes it difficult is it's all in comparison to EDC.
yeah.
Like, is it luxury? Is it VIP?
Oh,
is it chic?
Their VIP's terrible. EDC's VIP offers like a whole different spectrum of visceral events and different caves and caverns you walk through. Way more space, elevated experience where you can watch the stage from like the second story of like their little build out.
You could be in your VIP space watching.
Yeah, I mean Coachella
It's just a music festival.
Here's some Fijis and
it's not really lit well. Like when it's dark, walking, in a sea of people, it's like if you lose track of your person in front of you for 1 second, they're gone.
and it's dirt.
Dirt, grass. I mean, yeah.
They do their best.
So it's like ACL or what's that other country one that's in California?
It's Stagecoach.
Stagecoach.
Same venue.
Oh, okay.
So they do these poor people.
In the city.
Yeah. So if this is Coachella, this is the neighborhoods around it that get affected.
Oh my god.
People are parking in their neighborhoods, walking by their shit,
throwing up everywhere.
I mean, the most nasty shit I was seeing driving around, and they have Coachella weekend 1, Coachella weekend 2, and then after Coachella, they get a bunch of fucking country guys going there, Stagecoach, with the same amount of people.
Oh my goodness.
These poor people, bro.
We thought the people that lived around Wet and Wild had it rough.
They should just travel for that whole month and rent it out.
They should.
Airbnb. They'd make so much money.
I wouldn't doubt if they did.
What'd you pay a night for your Airbnb?
It was Angie's friend's aunt's house, so I think it was like $300 a night.
It was an Airbnb though?
She
just said
she
you can
sometimes
use it.
does it, but because we used it on such a busy weekend, we paid a little.
Extra?
Just $300.
Just paid a little.
Oh yeah. Normally that would be like probably $800-900 a night.
Got it.
Yeah.
But it had a pool, spa, barbecue, grass everywhere.
Sweet.
That's cool.
Cool. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. I must say, after that explanation, I have no desire to go to Coachella.
Yeah, it's dusty, and EDC's all on concrete, and it's just way more. I wouldn't say it's cleaner, but your lungs don't get fucking attacked. That's why I sound like this.
I feel like I'm good with like a 2-hour Justin Timberlake concert. I go home.
Yeah, but imagine you have a 2-hour Justin Timberlake concert, and then right after that is an NSYNC concert, and then as soon as that's over, there's a Backstreet Boys concert, and after that you can go see
I'm out. I'm
whatever.
going
You can go see Ja Rule, and imagine all of your artists in an 8-hour span are just one after another.
Yes. Okay. I can appreciate that. I just
That's all
don't
it
think I
is.
have that
What's
many
the
favorite
one-
artists.
What's the one here in Vegas that they do? That's similar to that. A ton of artists come in really quick.
Lovers and Friends.
Another one. MGM hosts it.
Lovers and Friends.
I think it's Lovers and Friends.
Lovers and Friends, all the old school.
Is it Lovers and
Are
Friends?
you talking about iHeartRadio?
iHeartRadio. See, that was my understanding of iHeartRadio. Is it was super high end artists that came in, sang 3 of their best songs, and left.
Yeah.
Like I would love that.
Yeah.
If you want free tickets to that, I get free tickets to that all the time. It's the same time as Life is Beautiful. So no one wants those.
So I know. Why do they do that?
I don't know.
You're right.
It boggled my mind since I used to go.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me.
Like no one wants to go to that shit.
Well, let's tell you about our weekend.
Yeah,
Honey.
let's hear about it.
This is the difference. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. So Saturday and Sunday, we got to wake up earlier than we do during the week for soccer games.
Nice.
Yeah.
Felt good.
That was brutal.
Yeah. We had
Just because I went out on Saturday. Normally I don't go out because these early soccer games.
right. But we had 3 soccer games on Saturday morning, and then we had 2 birthday parties after that, and then we had dinners that night, and then Sunday we had 2 games.
Yeah, the birthday parties is probably the toughest part.
Dude, we went to all of it.
Yeah.
When was at Crystal Palace though? That's
Oh,
Bro.
I saw Kinsley skating. That was so cute.
How sweet was that?
It was.
Dude,
it was
honestly,
actually really fun.
really fun. Did you ever skate?
Yeah. I mean, I rollerbladed. Which
Yeah, I rollerbladed too. But you could, if you have any level of athleticism
Yeah.
and you rollerbladed, you could easily
You know how to skate.
skate.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I know.
Hell of a workout.
Was it the same place we used to go?
No, Rancho.
It was on Rancho.
But done, dude.
Yeah.
They're all in not a great location.
Yeah, but it was really clean. It looked brand
Yeah.
new.
Was it
It was
Crystal?
like old school Crystal Palace, but brand new.
Was it actual Crystal Palace?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought Mayweather bought that.
I did too, and I got scolded when I asked.
Oh, he got more than scolded. She was not happy.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, she didn't respond
She's like,
well.
it is family owned.
Yeah.
Josh goes, I'm getting the vibe that you're part of the family.
Right.
She's like, yeah.
Yes,
For how many years? I don't even know.
I know. Who knows? Great event.
Yeah.
Great event. Yeah, that was our weekend.
Fun. Full of kids' birthdays.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Did we have an impactful moment? I don't know if I had an impactful moment.
Yeah, you did.
Well, hit me.
You were a fucking celebrity for a night.
Oh. I was telling Danny how I went to Rouge at
Red Rock.
Red Rock. Yeah, that was a good event. You know, it's like
It
Parkway.
wasn't even an event.
Oh, I know. It's just a restaurant.
yeah.
Have you been?
I walked in. I've never been there while it's
Okay.
Pop.
Oh, did you walk in that night that I accidentally walked in when we were at
yeah,
the Circle
but
Bar?
it was dead.
Dead. Nothing.
Yeah.
No, not dude. It's the fucking place to be.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Totally enjoyed it. Met
Uh-huh.
lots of people.
There's
shook
food
lots
there?
of hands. Oh yeah, it's a
Yeah.
restaurant. It's a restaurant with multiple. It's dude. It's
Well, it seems like you sit
It
in like
seems like it's kind of like a Jing, but better. That's the.
I would take that totally.
Yeah.
I think Jing shoved what I found that they did well there, as I was observing, is and Danny, you can visualize either what you saw recently when you walked in, or obviously Cherry. They had that huge bar right in the middle. Jing put the big bar in the middle and the tables around it. They shrunk that bar to like an entertainment stage, and then put tables starting at that bar around it, but then put the bars on the outside. And I really liked that dynamic because then you could sit at the bar and look in.
Yeah.
You know,
Instead of being the center of attention.
yeah, instead of
Yeah.
sitting at the bar or having the bar block your view. That's what I thought. Like you were on the other side of the restaurant and I could see Krystal. Think about that. If there was a huge obnoxious bar in the middle, it just suffocates. So the energy was just flying across
Yeah.
the room. I don't know. Maybe it was a one-time experience, but it was pretty cool. Met a lot of fun people. And I would definitely go back. I
Yeah.
got a 10 in my book. I really did.
Have you gone to Lotus yet?
No, we got that lined up Thursday for Crystal's birthday.
That's a phenomenal spot.
Yeah?
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Good
you
energy or just food?
Oh, the food. The decorations are fucking top notch.
We went to the opening, but we didn't
Yeah.
get. It was a shit show, and not in a bad way.
It was it was just so packed.
Yeah, like no sitting down.
Oh
no food.
Once you sit and kind of take everything in, the interior decoration.
They
is
opened the roof.
next
It was
level.
It
freezing.
went nuts. You know what we thought on a business level? Then we'll get into our topic of the day.
Yeah.
Is the Fertitas are just beyond. I mean, beyond intelligent, beyond skilled in everything they do, and who knows if it's them or the people they hire, but it's somebody over there. First of all, with the A's, you know, the whole destroying the access point to the city.
Yeah.
You know, we were all like, what the fuck, out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Okay. And then all of a sudden, a month and a half later goes by, and all of the Fertitas dirt that they've been assembling for the last 10, 15 years is under contract with the A's baseball team. It's like, talk about pull. They got ahead of that,
Yeah.
you know, of the construction and then announced. But anyway, we were talking about like when Durango Station opens. When Durango Station opens, if they hadn't gone into Red Rock and spruced that space, us three may have gone to Durango Station.
Because it's new.
It's new, wanted to see it, fell in love with something there, and it would have been very difficult to probably pull us back to Red Rock.
Yeah.
So they released all these cool restaurants that we're enjoying before Durango opens, and it's going to take a lot to get me to want to go over to Durango.
To do the full switch, yeah. Like you'll go to Durango, but you'll still go back to Red Rock.
I think there was just something that I took away that it's just so important about programming humans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like Uber. Like they're trying to delete the car. You know, it's like Open Door and OfferPad. Like they're trying to delete the traditional, and they'll lose money for
doesn't matter
forever until they reprogram society.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then once society is dependent on that new system and procedure, then they can charge whatever they want, and that's when they score out.
Then you're like Netflix, and everyone just cannibalizes you.
Yeah, Netflix got smoked.
Remember,
or is getting.
You used to have HBO on Netflix. You used to have Showtime on Netflix. You used to have all the movie channels and Disney. It was all on Netflix, and one by one,
Yeah,
all of them have their own now.
I didn't even think of that.
All right, so let's get to the best part of the show. This is where we hone in on self-growth, mindset, entertainment, humor, financial literacy, health trends, and much more. Today, we are talking about using your ego for good.
Well, what do I think about that?
Yeah, because I don't have much on this topic.
Well, so I have an ego.
Yes.
And I've had an ego.
Yes.
I think ego is developed. Everybody's probably got an ego. It's just how they develop it. And I used my ego as a propulsion system. And every time that I accomplished, I fed the ego.
Okay.
And when I fed the ego got bigger. And then I would accomplish more because I was more bold and able to take on more. And then it got to a point, I'm talking like early days.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to a point actually, because I have to note this to get into the future, is it was probably 2013 when I was at Mezzanine. And I had closed a deal, probably made $20,000. I don't know what the number was, but enough to get me feeling good about myself. I'm in the LS 460. I'm driving out of the neighborhood. The weather's a 10. I got all 4 windows down and the moonroof open. And everything in me was like, turn up the radio and just enjoy it and embrace it and hot shot and feel the feeling of being a winner. And I'm the shit, and I could go drop $1,000 somewhere, and it wouldn't even faze me. And I swear to you, I turned off of our street that we lived on, rolling towards the gate. And I remember something Ronaldo Taberti had said. He said, operating from the ego has never, ever served him. And you want to talk about someone that either has an ego or an ego that at one point in his life was probably out of check.
He's Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I repeated to myself, and I was like, you know what? It's just not worth it. And at that moment, I checked myself. Now, my ego can come out and can get flared up, but I make conscious effort to not operate solely from the ego. But when I need to use it, I do. I think the ego emboldens me. So when there's a challenge in front of me, and there's fear running through me of the unknown or uncertainty, or can I accomplish this, or do I really want to go to battle with this person? I have to dig deep and flip that button and go, I need you, ego, now. And it turns me into a different person. And then I attack, and I can be aggressive, and it's gloves off, and it's scorch earth. And now it's important to have control of that. Mm-hmm. And when I'm done using it as a tool, I can put it back into its box and let it rest. And then I operate from just normalcy after that. Mm-hmm. But I absolutely believe it's a powerful tool. And it's just how you develop it. Yeah. Some people, they depend on it. And it's not backed by anything. I think that's where the real issue comes, is when they have these huge egos, and the ego isn't being used as a tool.
They're using it as a superficial foundation.
That they're depending on. Like in their brain, they've built this crazy ego that's built from nothing but fantasy.
And they're standing on it.
And their brain and using it to operate.
And
it's unjustified.
Would that mean that they aren't using their ego for good then?
No,
in that
not
scenario?
those people. They're not turning it off.
they're not turning it off. They can't turn it off.
Yeah.
If they turn it off,
Their
then
foundation crumbles.
their whole everything about them collapses. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying when I said I think. It's funny. These are great topics because they're truly off the cuff. Like we didn't research this topic.
No,
I'm giving you my 2 cents from a candid position. So to try to articulate it on a whim here, there's a challenge to it. But I think it's important to talk about it. It's how you build it. So never be afraid to have an ego, in my opinion. Just build it properly and understand what you're trying to do with it. If what Danny just described, I think the ego is totally, totally dysfunctional and should not be utilized that way.
What's the difference between ego and confidence?
That's a good question.
I mean,
Dan, you got any ideas on that?
Confidence, you can do it. Like everyone, we have confidence, but I think there's times where you need your ego to be a little fucking cocky and use that confidence. Be like, no, you're the smartest motherfucker in the room. Figure it the fuck out. You're like, you know what? I can't figure this shit out. Like it just a little boost.
It's like a little nitrous oxide. And what you just said there, Dan, you said, I think I can figure this. I know I can figure this out. That's confidence. And then you went and pressed to the nitrous oxide. And then that was the ego that goes, I can fucking figure this out. I think you need, there you go. I think that's how an ego is productive, is you have confidence that gets you to the starting line.
Okay.
And then you got to snap into like 2.0 version of yourself. And to tap into that, it's ego. No one's faster than me. No one's going to beat me at this race. But it took confidence. You can't use ego to get to the starting line. You know what I'm saying? It's
well, there you go. The people that use ego as their foundation don't have confidence.
There you go.
They're just running on fucking nitrous the whole time.
Yeah.
As soon as that shit runs out.
Yep. And it's backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that was good.
Yeah, my dad used to call ego edging God out.
I remember you telling me that.
He used to do stupid acronyms all the time. He would just make shit up. So he made that up.
They always seemed rooted in some level of logic.
Yeah, if you say anything, I got it figured out. The English accent.
Well, edging God out, ego means
Makes
that
sense,
I can do it all on my own.
Yeah.
I don't need anybody else. I'm independently the best. And God is always easily referenced as the religious component of faith.
Uh-huh.
But it doesn't have to be. God could be the universe. God could be
Energy inside.
inside of you. It could be my wife. It could be, it could be you to me to you, something greater than yourself.
Yeah.
So how can you use ego for good?
I think that's it. I think you actually helped define it. I think the confidence gets you. So you have a task in front of you, and you've got a task that you believe you can take down, that you can overcome, but there's still some uncertainty, because even with confidence, it's a good thing that you have the one angel on your shoulder saying, hey, be careful, be cautious, don't take too much risk. And sometimes you have to crush that voice. And confidence can work its way around that voice.
Uh-huh.
But when it's game time, honestly, it's ego, man. I was playing pickleball yesterday, and Cameron Zan and Kevin Guyan. Yep, Kevin Guyan, great guy. Smoking me and Andre.
Yeah.
0 to 11, game 1. Game 2 was 1 to 11. So I was like, okay, 9 more games and I'll win. That's how I looked at it. And so we went and we had to switch each time, back and forth. Like game 6 or 7, Cameron and Kevin are looking at Andre and I are like, do you guys want to switch it up? Like, kind of feeling bad for us.
Yeah.
And Andre even for a moment entertained it. I felt him entertain it, and I blanketed the convo. No, absolutely not. Because I want to win under these circumstances.
Yeah, you don't want them to make it so that you win.
Yeah, they're changing the rules a little bit
Yeah.
so that I can win. Giving me, because Cameron and Kevin are really experienced pickleball players in comparison to Andre and I, which was our first
Right.
game yesterday. And that was my ego. So confidence got me to the court, having never really played against guys that play. And then it was serving me. And then I had to dig even deeper. And that was ego. Am I going to let this guy switch these things up? And how do I brag about winning? Oh, I won because I'm going to fucking own my win. And the way I'm going to own my win is I'm going to do it myself, edging God out.
Yeah. What's funny is you said ego for good is I always said if I had a kid, I'm beating his ass in basketball until the day he can fucking beat me. Because that day he beats me, he's going to look me in the face and be like, I fucking,
I earned this.
yeah. I'm be
How
like,
good is he going to feel?
yeah.
Dude, exceptional.
I'm going to dunk on you on the little 6-foot rim until you go home and like, God damn it.
And sometimes that ego is when ego is like unshakable almost.
Well, I mean, to piggyback off your pickleball story, like I came home and you're like, I almost had him. And you're telling me it's 0 to 11. I'm like, I don't know if you almost had him.
Well, what was happening? And
Is that your ego?
It was my ego that kept me in the game because my knees were starting to go. My thighs were tired. Andre's telling me that his lower back and ass is starting to burn. And he's like, dude, this is fucking intense. And I'm like, let's keep fucking going. Let's just keep going.
I took 25,000 steps a day in Coachella.
Did you?
Yeah.
What is that? That's
know.
fucking 10. That's 20 miles?
And Angie can't see. She kept saying, "Get on, let me get on your shoulders." And she's on my shoulder and she's bouncing and I'm dancing. Go through that.
Ego's your nitrous.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm going to call it. When you're down and out and you're out
It's
of
like your
confidence.
fourth wind.
It's your fourth wind. That's that voice that fucking is there to pick you up and go, let's go. Let's fucking go. Now, push. That's my ego.
Yeah.
When I'm exhausted at work and anything that I'm doing and I'm out of fuel, I dig into the ego. And I don't know. Yeah, I dig into the ego, and there's all kinds of ways that I could analyze this.
I know, there's just a lot of negative attached to it.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably the next topic is it's
Ego
not
has
all
a
bad.
negative-
None of it's bad. None of it. Self-limiting beliefs aren't bad. Self-esteem issues aren't bad. Insecurities aren't bad. It's all how you.
It's part of the pot.
It's part of the pot. It's what makes all of us who we are.
Like I used to do that at Nora's, and it was for my own confidence. I used to walk in there, and be like, I'm the best servant ever walked in this house or this building. I was the best busser. I'm the best everything. Sell more than me, and I would just talk shit, and everyone hated it. But it motivated them to a point where they wanted to beat me.
Sure.
And it made me work harder. So it's like, all right, I know I'm going to make more money now since I've talked enough shit. To
Right. If
everyone
you
around
talk
here.
enough shit, you got to.
Yeah. So everyone made more money because I was so egotistical.
That's right. I want to use that as an example in the real estate space. Honestly. You know, everybody elevated their game, and there was one of the guys last on Saturday night said that he's like, because a lot of these names people don't even recognize, like the Zolt era, the Maxim era, the Realtech Realty era. There was a time when I was just a realtor showing that product, and horrific is an understatement. Danny would have hives if he walked into one of these flips and was told it was a flipped product. Like they would not put carpet in the closets. You know, they wouldn't. The old school trick I was telling you about how to put a light in the room.
Yeah.
Instead of running it all the way up, they would just stick it right there. You know, there was many other things. Painted cabinets to where you couldn't open them because they'd painted them shut.
Yeah, painted them shut.
You know, or the inside, and then therefore the inside wasn't painted.
Yeah.
But this guy, he goes, "You elevated the flipping game," and I'm like, "Yeah, I did."
Yeah.
And then everybody else elevated, to Danny's point. Now the consumer's getting a better product and everybody's making more money. And I always, you know, this is where the ego can be checked. I can carry that title for the rest of my life, but unfortunately it stops where I just ended it, is that I elevated it. But it doesn't mean I'm the best today.
Right.
And you know, I learned that from from Dan Bilzerian. Dan Bilzerian they'd be like, "Well, why don't you play poker anymore?" He's like, "Dude, I was part of an era where not everybody knew poker.
Yeah.
You know, we were doing backroom deals. I was taking advantage of people that thought they knew poker, and I was a king at that point." He goes, "Now I'm competing with guys that have been playing poker since they were 8.
Right.
You know, and no, I'm not the best anymore. That's why I don't play poker." And I would take that and own that all day. There are guys out there, and I'll give the guy credit right now, Hubs, Nick Marietta, all due respect. Do those flips? One of their flips is better is a better designed flip than in all of my flips ever combined. You know, one of their super high end flips. But so that's me checking my ego and not standing on it artificially, but keeping it healthy by giving myself the credit that I believe I deserve, which was I was one of the stepping stones.
Yeah, you were the influence
to pushing that elevation, to elevating the game.
I mean, and the spider web below you, who you got into flipping, is vast.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I think that's what's starting to happen is I think I was an influence, Dan, in the space for many years, but never on display.
I think that's using your ego for good, right? For influence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like the ego needs to be fed. Like I enjoy inspiring people, and seeing the tools and tricks that I've taught someone be utilized to improve their life. That's serving the ego. I don't know. Dan, you got your phone?
No.
Oh yeah, none of us have our phone. You have your phone, honey?
Yeah.
Google ego.
Okay.
Let's really see what the psychological definition is, or what would you call that? The mental health definition.
Oh. A person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance.
Okay.
Yeah.
See how bad it's chalked up to be?
You know,
Right.
And
It
it's
does have a
not.
bad rep, and it's really not that bad.
It's not bad. What is the definition of ego? One more time.
A person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance.
Okay. You know what? I think I'm fucking important. I do.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a shame to think that you're not important. Okay. And my self-esteem? Absolutely. I have high self-esteem. And that's where I think it's easy to get confused between insecurities and self-esteem. You can have insecurities. I have insecurities, but I have high self-esteem. I have, a high belief that I'm important.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to have like a bag of tricks.
Insecurities and being insecure are two totally separate things. Because you choose to be insecure about whatever you're insecure about, but everyone has insecurities.
You believe that?
100%.
I don't disagree, but
I've seen the most gorgeous people
oh my gosh.
be insecure and be depressed because of it.
So it says people ask, so what exactly does ego mean? And it says the I or self of any person, a person as thinking, feeling, and willing, and distinguishing itself from the selves of others. So that's very convoluted, but what I take from that is that the people that don't have an ego means that they don't feel like they are different or stand out from anybody else.
Ooh, deep.
Yeah, that
Right?
sounds bad.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
Individualism,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah. Shit. That was good.
Oh, thanks.
Let's talk about these insecurities.
Okay.
You've got a beautiful human being, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, beautiful human being goes to a bar, goes out.
Yep.
Their hope and intent for the evening is that they will find somebody that finds them attractive
They'll get
to
noticed.
validate their beauty.
Yes.
Okay. They're so beautiful that what they've done is they've intimidated and or out of my league everybody around them. So now everybody around them is afraid to approach them or validate their beauty because they're intimidated by them. So now they've created an insecurity, and they go home and they look in the mirror and they're like, okay, nobody validated what I believe to be beautiful, so I'm going to make it more beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to go get big ass tits. Okay. Or I'm going to get bigger muscles, whatever side of the spectrum you want to be on. Okay. Then they go out again. They're like, okay, now I'm even more beautiful than I was.
And no one talked to me.
And nobody talks to me. Why? Likely they don't realize this, but everybody's intimidated, and even more intimidated than the first run. So then they go home, they get a nose job, they get extensions, they get big lips, they update their makeup, they get this outrageous wardrobe on, it's to the 9, and they go out and nobody talks to them.
There's probably one ugly guy that just has no self-awareness, and he's like, I'm just going to hit on this chick. And now she's like, the fucking ugly guy hit on me?
Right.
Yeah.
And one guy that I wouldn't have wanted actually showed me some attention.
Yeah.
And you're not wrong, because he's delusional. And now he's not validating that beauty, and that they're not giving her the validation that she wants to, because she's beautiful. But what I think at that point, some of these girls, what they need to realize, or guys, is just tone it back down.
Yeah.
Just be normal. There's no accents to the dad bods in. That you look at this hot girl and she's with this normal looking dude. Just tone it down so that you're approachable.
Yeah.
And think whatever you're displaying is likely what you're going to attract. So if you're displaying this artificial, very difficult to keep up with lifestyle, perfection, now I'm going to self-reflect myself and go, am I in alignment with that energy? And there's a good shot that I'm going to be like, no, not even close. right?
Yeah.
So now you're just living a life of rejection, and then you're not understanding why you're being rejected, and you're doubling down the same thing that's getting you rejected over and over and over and over again.
Or you're shooting for perfection, so then you're attracting perfection, and you don't want to be with perfection.
No, most of these chicks, these incredibly beautiful girls, and really handsome dudes. I actually have a guy in my life. He works out with us at the gym. He worked with a guy in the office here.
Yeah.
He's an older gentleman. He's beautiful. And I think that he's lived a very unfulfilling life because he solely depends on what he looks like on the outside.
Yeah.
So now there's no girl good enough looking for him.
And if he's at the age now, he's not going to get the 20s and 25s anymore.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. On the
There was a guy. He was doing a seminar with a bunch of women. He was talking about like the perfect man and have you met him yet? And he asked them all questions. He's like, do you guys ever talk to guys? I'm like, no. Oh, so you wait for him to talk to you? Okay. Boom, boom. He was like, if you ever see a guy that you really, really like, just go talk to him. And they're all like balked at him. He's like, do you know the kind of guys that have the confidence to just walk up to girls and talk to them? He's like, the fucking assholes, the players, the guys that have confidence that are going to fuck you over.
Yep.
That's the guys you're waiting on.
Right.
He's like, have some balls and go find your fucking man. He's like, you're going to be surprised when you talk to a guy, the one you are attracted to, that you might actually like him and he might have a good personality, but you're just so fucking unapproachable. They don't fucking get out of their seat.
That's a good point.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, when he said that, I was like, damn.
Well, and it's never been said where it's like to the woman,
Yeah.
go pick your guy. They just sit there and wait for guys to walk up to them.
And who's the guy with confidence?
Right.
Fucking
The
us
shithead.
when we were 20.
Exactly.
You don't want to talk to me when I
No.
was 20.
It was you.
It was you.
Angie asked me, she's all fucking faded at telling, she's looking at me. She's like, what if we met 5 years ago? I'm like, you would have fucking hated me. She's like, oh, you're cocky. I'm like, no, I was a different fucking human. I was not a good dude.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
But I would have walked right up to her if I met her. What's up, baby?
Right. Right. With all the wrong intentions.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you think about ego? How does that serve you or not serve you in business and in life?
I just would argue that I don't really have an ego, but then when I read the description that if you don't have an ego, it means that you don't stand out, I would say that I do have an ego because I do feel like I stand out. But I would say my ego, I think, is on my ability to be productive and get things done. That's where my ego is.
So it's that extra boost of nitrous that
Yes.
Danny and I were talking about.
Yeah, like when people are like, "Oh, I have 2 soccer games today." I'm like, "I have 4 today and 2 tomorrow." Like, no big deal.
And 2 birthdays.
Yeah, and I'm like excited. I'm like, I'm gonna get this done today.
Yeah, I think, you have to validate the definition of ego,
Yeah.
which is you have to validate it, meaning if the true definition of is importance, right?
Yeah.
It was self-importance.
Yeah,
And
self-important.
what was the other one?
And the other one said it's how you differentiate from other people.
How you stand out.
Yeah.
So how do you revalidate that all the time? You have to do superhuman special shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
It's almost like challenge accepted.
That's ego.
Yeah.
That's ego for me. When I
Yeah.
have to look at the person across from me and know that I've got to go to battle with them on a verbal basis or wits or brain or intelligence, I dig deep. I go into my ego space. Dude, I've had it happen many times, actually, when I've been deposed by attorneys. These guys are paid to go and shred the guy across from them, use their own words against them. The first time I ever did it, I sat in this room for fucking 8 hours before it was my turn, and I didn't eat anything. I ate a huge breakfast. Excuse me. But I didn't eat anything after that because I knew it would be a few hours in before I talked, and I didn't want to be lethargic or tired
Right.
because of all the food I'd put in my belly. So I'm sitting there just drinking coffee, and then I'd feel myself fading. And I'm like, what if it's my turn in the next second? So I'd
Oh
hit
my
another
God.
coffee. Then I'd feel myself fade, and then I'd hit another coffee. So I'm like caffeinated to the max, and then they're like, it's your turn. And that was a true visual of my ego serving me. In my brain, I looked across the table at this guy, and he fucking read it right on my forehead. And I looked and I said, let's fucking go. In my brain. Like, this is that moment I get to challenge myself against the best. And And I held my own the first time. Second time, same thing. Sat there and just fucking battled with this attorney for 7 hours. This one was the whole time, 7 hours battling with him. I walk outside. I sit next to my attorneys during our break, and they're like, "You are crushing it. You're giving this guy nothing." And that fed my ego. I was like, I'm fucking special. I'm important. I'm different.
Beautiful. You won that, right?
I would have won it. So I won the first lawsuit. You're right. The second lawsuit I would have won, but because my insurance kicked in to defend me.
Yeah, the E&O insurance.
Yeah. The error and omissions insurance kicked in, and their attorneys dictate the legal strategy. So we were just so done with their outrageous demands and how weak their case was that we were like, have at it. Let's go. Let's go to trial, and whoever wins. And I'm ready to write the check. And at the last second, they decided to settle, and they reached out and said, "Hey, let's settle." And the insurance, being the one that's ultimately going to write the check, was like, "Of course, we'll take a small settlement over a possibility of a 50-50 shot of having to write a bigger check."
Right.
So yes, in my book, I felt that I won that one, but I had to follow the lead of the attorneys that the insurance company hired.
They're paying.
They're paying. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is that your ego saying you won?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think this is a good conversation, a good topic. I think the ego is absolutely healthy. Let's summarize it. The ego is absolutely healthy. We read the formal definition of ego, and it is not bad.
No, it's not bad.
It's probably bad if you don't have a little
I think
ego.
egotistical might be bad.
Let's Google that one really quick. Ego versus egotistical.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's probably how they got convoluted.
Right.
He's an egotistical prick. I'm like, yeah. Glasses. Convertible.
All right, honey. What is the definition of an egotistical?
Okay, so it
person?
says definitions. Ego definition, which is a personal character trait. It's a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. Egotistical definition, which is a personal external behavior towards others, is excessively conceited or absorbed in oneself. So ego is a character trait, and egotistical is external behavior towards others.
Jeez, that was
Yeah, it's like they're
So you're
overdoing the ego.
Yeah.
they're displaying it on everybody else.
Yeah,
We
and
said it.
overly confident. It's the smoke show.
It's ingredients, and they're
Yeah.
just doing a little too much ego.
Yeah.
Yeah, too much salt in the cookies.
Yeah.
Calm down, egotistical men.
There you go. So let's summarize with that. So the ego's healthy.
Ego's healthy.
Being egotistical
Is not.
is not.
Correct.
There you go.
Ego's out of the way. Let's talk about what's trending now.
All right. What do you got?
I love old people. They're like some of my favorite
You're
people.
actually really good with old people.
I love old people. And
So funny.
this news today I heard, this poor man,
I don't
Joe
want to be
Biden
sad.
is going on another presidential run. I mean, I don't want to talk anything politics, what he believes in. I keep that out of here.
All right.
This guy should be on a fucking rocking chair, in fucking Connecticut, staring at a lake, sipping coffee, hanging out with his fucking grandbaby.
That's right. I agree. Another presidential run. Think how much goes into that. Dude,
Mentally.
we're watching like what it goes into like build our brokerage.
Yeah.
What it goes into building I Am Josh Galindo. Like how many babies you have to kiss and hands you have to shake is crazy, let alone go run for president.
Content.
Oh,
Oh,
His
yeah.
content is movie cameras and
oh my goodness.
scripts nonstop everywhere
He
goes.
does not care about his content.
Dude, I wonder if that guy even has it. Like, what's the wiring of his brain? Is he just a capsule that's still moving?
That's all.
At this point,
My guess is that.
or does
okay.
he sit down and have thoughts?
He
My-
vaguely.
Yeah, I would think that like to be like that in people's faces all the time, you have to be an introvert, I think, because you can't ever get socially deep with anybody.
Well,
You're very surface level.
I think
All the way around.
yeah, but I think him personally right now, his mental condition.
Oh, well, that's beside, yeah.
Like I saw my grandpa and he has all the same traits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the little mumbles where their lips don't really move. And
Yeah.
I'm like, this dude's got 2 years left.
Well, they're doing it on purpose.
I just feel bad for him.
I agree, Danny. To your point, I think, which is what Danny's doubling down on, is This poor guy should
Yeah.
be on a rocking chair overlooking a vast land with farm animals and shit and a few dogs that sleep at his feet, watching his grandkids come and play every Saturday and Sunday.
Instead, everywhere he goes, he has to worry about death threats and,
Yeah.
and snipe. You know, there's
Secret Service everywhere.
that's not built for an 80-year-old man.
How old is he going to be?
Phone it.
Oh,
I'm thinking 70,
I don't really want to search Joe Biden on my phone, but
78.
78. So before he runs again, it'll be all of 23, all of 24. So he'll be 80. So by the time
he's 80 right now.
oh my
A
God.
deteriorating 80.
Yeah, he's turning 81 this year.
Holy shit.
Bro, he's not ready for another one.
Bro, he'll be 82.
I know.
That's unbelievable. Dude, the schedule, yeah, I don't know. I think they shoot the guy full of fucking adrenaline.
They have.
I mean, how does this he's got a hell of a body.
Yeah, he's
That's
moving.
an unbelievable capsule to fucking be able to move and be on like that.
No, about my grandpa, if his brain didn't go out, they stripped him of all water and all food, and he still lived for 2 more weeks.
No way.
They were like, his insides are so fucking healthy, he won't die. It's his brain and the Parkinson's which made him deteriorate into like nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, they were like, this heart is amazing.
His brain was
fucked.
gone.
Yeah.
So when they stripped him of food and water, he didn't know that was what was. He wasn't conscious. Like, I'm sitting here thirsty and starving.
No. His body was just kind of just running out of fuel, and it went like a whole week and a half longer than like doctors even thought of.
This fucking guy.
A fucking
Danny
tank.
was so proud.
I was like, yeah, I think you should go, but fuck.
Danny's rooting for him and shit, so he's got a brag story.
Yeah, and
My
that's why
grandpa.
I felt bad. I see it happen on him. Like, God.
The crazy thing is that these guys that run these presidents, which is why I think they hated Trump so much, and even I don't even know if Trump's the right guy anymore, just because
He's also almost 80.
Sure, he's certainly much more sharp than Joe Biden.
Yeah.
But I just think the fact that he is so divisive, and not for me, he doesn't offend me.
Yeah.
Okay, but I believe in peace everywhere. Like, I want to be able to have a talk. I don't know if I want to be able to, but if the topic of conversation around politics comes up, I want to be able to have that conversation in a peaceful, relatively peaceful manner. This guy Trump has brought out the deepest, darkest hate in human beings.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with Trump, but whatever their dark-rooted issue is, he brings it out in them.
Oh, yeah, he pulls it.
So do we want another round of that? The only thing that I would say that I think would be good for Trump is that I think I could get pinned to the wall for this, and I'm okay if that's the case because I don't mind being corrected. I think he could help end some of this corruption. Dude, the amount of corruption that is being exposed in the United States government makes Russia look like they got their shit together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these last 2 years, it's like scary.
Scary.
Yeah.
And all we can do is either just ignore it, which is kind of what you got to do, ignore
That's what
it,
I do.
and just operate in our stream of water
Yeah.
and hope that the dam keeps sending
Yeah.
water down to us. You know what I'm saying? But if you like try to swim to the dam and figure out how the dam works, like, you're just going to drive yourself crazy.
You'd
Right.
be that fish. The dam's going to blow.
Right.
Steve, you can't even look that far.
Get out of here, Steve. Let's stay focused. We're just swimming.
Meanwhile, the dam's got a little leak.
So how did he come out and announce it? I heard he was going to announce it today.
I don't think they probably had to pump him up before he can actually get out.
Did you read it or watch it or what did you?
I read it.
Okay, so you didn't see him actually.
They had to put the puppet strings in his arms and
Gosh.
I'm gonna run. It's like,
They're controlling him.
Oh.
They've got complete control. That was one of the things that when I was doing all the research on the Ukraine and Russia war is Russia. The reason that presidents stay in power for so long is because there's nobody to pass down. Nobody will honor the agreements made, generation to generation. So Putin's made arrangements and agreements with hundreds of people. Those are the oligarchs.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to keep their money coming in. You got to pay this guy. You got to pay this guy. You got to make sure this guy's taken care of. Make sure this guy's. So all those favors. Now, they're so afraid to bring another guy in to fuck their gravy train up that Putin probably wants to retire.
Yeah.
Putin probably wants to, but he's either going to be killed if he does, or or they're going to make them run forever. There was some other scenario that they told me, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. Anyway, someone in politics for 47 years when they don't need to be. Why? Because they have to maintain all the favors.
I literally said that. I was like, I don't know what they have on Joe Biden, but they're saying, you run
Yeah.
until we say stop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna,
Otherwise, this.
Yeah.
He's just like, okay.
yeah. Yeah. I think that's spot on.
It's so sad.
It's sad.
I hate seeing it.
I know. Poor guy's he's gonna die in office.
We need like a guy with like your mentality that's all into politics, 38, 40 years old, a fucking dog.
Someone that goes in there and doesn't give a fuck about any of the social issues.
Yeah.
Like squashes them. You know, obviously we don't want to me, we don't want the basics. I don't believe in racism on any level. Agreed. So none of that. Okay. If you want an abortion, you know, I've got my views on it because I've got kids, but if you want it, have at it. Go do your thing.
Right.
Okay. And then religion, keep religion off, you know, those are everything else, all this other crazy shit that they're coming up with. That's all nonsense. They got to get rid of that
Yeah.
and just focus on governing.
Yeah. Those topics just bother me.
I know.
Just how passionate people get about it.
It's crazy.
Even the people that are like against abortion. I'm like, do you donate to orphanage clinics? Do you
Sure.
adopt?
Right.
Right.
If you're so passionate, I want you to follow this fetus until it's born. And
Yeah.
Right.
where are your receipts?
I agree, Danny. And we just learned this. We went to a charity that is all about taking on kids that probably should have never been born.
Yeah.
Right.
And I whispered in her ear, I go, this is why abortion can be an option for some people because they are overloaded
Yeah.
with
The system's overloaded. So
with kids that should have never been born.
yeah.
Well, I mean, there's so many rabbit holes to go down, but there's 8 billion people on this planet. If there was no abortion, we'd be at like 14 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many of those would be productive humans of society?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. So like I said, to each their own, honestly, to each their own. And if we don't agree, that's fine. You know, so to each their own.
It is. It's just Democrats and Republicans. Like the abortion thing, everyone can agree. Like, I think up to like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, it's okay. But like
I'm
Democrats,
afraid to say yes, but
Democrats went and said, we want the ability to do it up until the day she's the kid's born.
Nah.
that's a human being at that point.
And I'm
That
like,
one I will vocalize out loud. You cannot. That's
Yeah,
that's
and then
very-
I think they should get up. Well, I don't really want to say it, but it's like there's at a point where if the baby was born, it would survive. It should have to be before that
Right.
point.
Right. There you go. But here, I'm going to end it with, let's end the abortion, at least abortion conversation
Yeah.
with this, unless you want to
No.
one more thing in there. I didn't have an opinion on abortion or an understanding of it until I went in with Krystal and they put that wand on, or that,
For the ultrasound.
until I went in with Krystal and they put that machine on Crystal's belly and it was quiet in the room and you just heard boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Hit that again.
life.
Okay. One more time with no noise. Okay. That was life.
Yeah.
Ooh. That shit was deep. I was like, wow, that fucker's alive in there. You know what I'm saying? I had a whole different understanding of it at that point. That guy's alive. Now, but, you know, at the same time, if we weren't ready, if the circumstances weren't right, if we weren't going to be able to nourish this child,
Right.
take care of this human being, bring him an amazing life that better than what we had, then that's a whole nother conversation to have. And I support the shit out of that too.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, everybody. Till next time. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe, like, share, tell your friends about us, and we'll have lots more topics like we just had today.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Absolutely. See you next time.
Hey guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you guys want to learn more about the tools, tips, and tricks that I use on a daily basis to maintain my success, stay connected with me through all of my socials at I am Josh Galindo.